Are you ready to wake up? You are now entering Dreamland. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Now Entering Dreamland, a podcast about dreams, sleep, and everything in between. Welcome back to those of you who have been to Dreamland before. We're happy to have you back. And welcome to those of you joining us here in Dreamland for the first time. If you are a listener of this podcast, you know that my favorite episodes to release are the interview-style episodes that I do, where I talk to people I know about their dreams and their sleep experiences. And today is one of my favorite days because I get to release a new interview-style episode. The episode that I'm releasing today is a wonderful interview I did with my friend M. Fisk. I met M several years ago. We both perform improv comedy in Washington, D.C., and I believe I met her at a jam or some type of improv event in the city. M is also a very funny stand-up comedian and a stand-up show producer, and I want to plug a show she does right here, which is called Cheers Comedy. And she's done virtual shows during the COVID pandemic, but she's switching to in-person shows very soon at Hook Hall. So if you are a Washington, D.C. local, check out Cheers Comedy because some exciting things are happening. I had a really great conversation with M. Like very many of my interviews, we start talking about dreams and sleep, and then we talk about topics that interest us, like comedy, and also manipulative people and cults. So we cast a wide net. I think you're really going to like this interview. So without further ado, an interview with M. Fisk. Tell me, have you had any interesting dreams lately?
Have I had any interesting dreams lately? I was trying, when we said we were going to do this, I actually started to mentally, consciously be like, I have a dream, I should remember this. And I think maybe that's why I've got dream blackout syndrome right now.
I hear you.
The last couple, I always have my alarm will go off and then I'll press snooze and then for 15 minutes I'll have a really interesting dream,
yes.
a movie or something like that. And then the alarm will go off again and I'll be I have to hit snooze and find out what happens. And then I forget.
I hear you.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I have a lot of really interesting dreams in those first 20 minutes of sleep or the snooze sleep where I stagger my alarms. So I have my alarm set to ring at 7, 7:15, 7:30.
Me too.
In those gaps, I'm I turn off my alarm and my alarm is my phone. And I keep my phone on my desk. So it's away from my bed. So I have to get out of my bed and turn off the alarm. But then I'm you know what? I'm going to lay back down for 15 minutes, even though it's not restful sleep. It's just
it's that
I don't know what it is.
Yourself is I'll be okay in 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes and I'm never okay.
And then 15 minutes later, you're oh, for fuck's sake, let's do this again.
Yeah. I really should just set it for the hour later because I'm finally around 8, I'm I should get up. It's I should have just set the alarm for 8 and then have avoided the whole thing.
I can't do my phone for an alarm clock. I've always had a physical alarm clock. And so in college, I do that same thing where I put it I'd fully get out of bed to walk across the room and turn it off, go back to sleep. And now I've got my alarm clock set up at the end of my bed. So I have to still take the sheets off and lean down and climb over my dog and hit snooze. But I could set 2 alarms on my alarm clock. And so there's one for 7 a.m. and one for 8 a.m. And from 7 to 8 a.m. every 15 minutes, you hear the blare. And I just, I know I don't have a very thick wall in between my bedroom and whatever apartment lives next door to me. So I kind of feel a little bad for them. But not bad enough not to do it. Right.
Oh, I used to drive my college roommates crazy because I would still do the every 15-minute alarm thing. And of course, I wouldn't get out of bed and they're Stacey, turn off your alarm. It was something else.
But yeah, no, I feel for anybody who had to share a room with me in college, because I'm not a morning person.
I'm not either. And for me, and how do you feel about this? But I have a theory where it's like morning for me is like the first 3 hours after I've woken up. So even if I wake up at noon, it's still morning for me until like 3 p.m. Like I'm not good after I wake up. Like I'm not even really me, I don't think.
I think my thing is I push it in the morning. So like I'll get up at like 8:30, 5, 4:40. And so like I have to, but like when I get up, I have to be like ready to like go upstairs and log on for work, because I have coworkers who I think appreciate my input but don't understand me as a person, because I schedule 9 a.m. meetings. I know they're trying with me, but like I don't want to be like, hey, I'm not a good adult. Could you not do that anymore?
Oh my gosh.
Because like sometimes like, you know, when boss is in the meeting and I can't have them scheduling around like my ineptitude.
No, I hear you.
But like my dog doesn't expect to go out until at least 10:30 every day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I know. She's a good girl.
When I had the cat, like the cat actually helped me wake up earlier, because the cat would, every morning when the cat would wake up properly, she would go into her litter box, like poop, and then she would like come into my room and meow very loudly, because that meant it was time for her to like eat her food. And
sorry, I left out the part of my mornings where my alarm goes off at 7. I get up, I feed my dog, and then I go back to bed. Because she won't bark at me, but she will yawn at me. And there have been mornings when she's literally like jumped up on bed and like started pawing at my face. Like, are you kidding? Yes. I see sunlight in this room and my tummy's rumbling, bitch. So like, let's.
Yeah, the cat was loud. Like it could like meow. Like I was like, how are you even this loud? Like you're so small. How is the sound emanating from you?
Yeah, oh man, we had cats growing up, and like, my mom now, like my parents have cats. My mom says like one of them will like almost sit on her face in the morning when she wants breakfast, which is her problem, not mine. Not to be apathetic, but a little bit to be.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah.
In the morning also, my cat hated this cup that I'm showing you. And for podcast viewers, this is just a clear plastic cup. But
it's bell-shaped.
It's bell-shaped and has a logo on it. It's from Epcot Food and Wine Festival. And my cat hated it for some reason. And every morning I would hear her like knock it off my desk. And then it would be on the ground and she would like try to like put it in a corner, and then every day I would pick it up and put it back on my desk. But I don't know why she hated it so much. Like,
do you think she hated it, or do you think that she was doing it as like a backup alarm for you?
I think she just really hated it, because whenever she would look at it, her tail would do that swishy.
Oh, like fuck this cup.
Yeah, like I hate this cup. Like I don't know why. Like I love this cup. I took it all the way back.
Let me tell you, of the cups you have shown me and in the years we've known each other, that is like top 3.
It's a top 3.
Top 3 cup. People tend to get me like dog related cups. Like I have like 3 coffee mugs that like have dog related like phrases on them. Like I prefer dogs to people, or one of them says dog mom. Another one my friend got me was like, I just want to pet my dog and drink coffee.
Nice.
And but I'm also like a little worried, like, what are people's like take homes about me if that's the theme? It's like, all right, she's got a dog and she drinks hot beverages.
You really like your dog.
I do. Well, I also have this wine glass, and for viewers at home, for viewers at home, and by that I mean listeners at wherever you're going while you walk with your phones.
Yeah.
Because podcasts.
We're talking to you.
It says dog mom, but in the middle of mom, there is a paw print.
It's cute.
And so it really just says to me that people know one thing about me. But I do actually like sometimes I'll have like dreams like about like stress dreams about Desi where like I brought her somewhere that she shouldn't be. Like I was one dream that I went to Chicago. It wasn't Chicago, but like like sometimes you have a dream and you like the narration, like you like you've read the script where like it's like city, New York, girl in her mid-20s named Carol, and like you don't read it but you know it in the dream, like what the setup.
Yes.
So in my dream I was in Chicago but not Chicago. And I had brought Desi with me, my dog, my darling girl. And I was just like really stressed out because like I was like going to the movie theater or wandering around what was probably more New York setting than Chicago style setting, because it was definitely the high-rise situation was a bit different. But again, I'm getting caught up on this logistical thing that doesn't make sense to me in my head. This thing drives me crazy about dreams. But I just kept hearing stuff like, she's not on her leash. Why isn't she on her leash? She doesn't have her collar. And then like, where am I? Like, I got to take her with me because I have to be this place, but like, she shouldn't be with me. I had another dream where I was like, I was in like a boathouse or something. Okay. And it was the same situation where it was like, Desi is here with me, but like, I'm also in this weird boathouse scenario that I need to handle, but also my dog keeps wandering away.
Yeah.
Like not helping me. I can't remember what was going on. I don't. But do you like ever? Has that ever happened to you though, where you're like you're somewhere in a dream, or you're talking to someone in a dream, like that like fact about the thing, but then when you wake up, you're like none of that was correct.
Like sometimes when someone will come up to you in a dream that and they're like, I moved to Sweden, and then when you wake up, you're like, Catherine didn't go to Sweden.
Or you're like, you're in your own house, but like but like the knowledge you have of the situation in the dream is like, this is my uncle's house.
Yes.
Like something's off in your head in the dream, but then you wake up and you're like, so if I'm fact checking this, it's all wrong.
Yes. Oh, 100%. There was this one. Did I tell you about my weird dreams that I had about San Diego?
No, tell me.
Okay. So years back in 2015, at that point, I had never been on an airplane. And
really?
Yes, like I had never been. And my work was sending me to this conference in San Diego. So I knew I had to go on a plane, but I was like really nervous about it because I didn't know.
You'd never been on a plane?
I had never been on a plane. It was also my first business trip that I was like, everything about it was like new. And I was old.
They were like, let's take one thing that would cause a pressure and then we'll add something else. Yeah. And then wait, Paul, you got another idea? Okay. Add that to Stacy's like first big business trip. I feel like you could write a children's book about this, Stacy's big trip.
Stacey's big trip, because it really was like a big trip and I was freaked out. But I had this dream one night that I was with some friends from college, and they were like, how was your trip to San Diego? And I was like, my trip to San Diego? And they're like, yeah, you just got back last weekend. How was your trip? And I was like, I guess it was okay. I kept saying, I was like, I don't really remember it that much, so I guess it was okay. And then I woke up and I was like, damn, I haven't gone on the trip yet. I had so wanted the trip to just be over. I had this like dream that everyone was like, all right, how was it? And I was like, it was
a thing.
Fine. Yeah, like,
it's a thing I did, and I have no results for you. That's always so stressful when you like have like a big event coming up too. I think like I always have like when I'm stressed out about something, I don't have like stress dreams about the actual event, but I have like I get dreams about like being lost.
Yes, I get lost so often in dreams.
It's the thing is like that's actually my biggest anxiety in life. I got lost at a water park when I was 5. Have I ever told you the story?
No.
Oh, my dad and I agree it's like the scariest thing that's ever happened to either of us. My dad took me and my older cousin Jimmy to a water park when I was about 5-ish, like right before. My sister was like months old at that point, so it must have been less than 5. And he we were in this like play center, like pool type thing, and my dad and my cousin Jimmy were talking, and they're facing away from me, and looked over my shoulder, and I thought I saw a castle. And being, you know, like 5, I was like, let's check it out. Did not tell my dad, just wandered off. And so I get there, and it turns out it was a ball pit. And I'm playing with kids, and I'm having a good time. And then we go up to the slide, and there's a dragonfly, and everybody freaks out and runs. Because I guess like maybe a prison tats or like a scowl or something. I don't know. But I was like, fuck this, I'm gone. And I start running, and I just kept running, and I'm running some more. And then suddenly I realize I'm not getting anywhere. And then I keep running, but I'm crying because I don't know where I'm going. And then this woman like pulls me aside and is like, are you lost? And I was like, yes. And they got me back to my dad.
That's good.
But like ever since then, like one of my biggest anxieties in life has been like getting lost. Yeah. Like I got a smartphone once because I was driving back from Virginia Beach to Richmond, and like the GPS died on me. And I had a full-blown panic attack. I had to like pull over, find a library, sign up for a library card, go to MapQuest, which is still kind of an old-fashioned sentence in 2011 when it happened.
Is MapQuest still an active website?
Is it? I don't. Wait,
I'm checking right now.
Please let me know. Wait, I remember MapQuest when it first came out. Everybody was like, MapQuest.
Oh my God! Here it is.
Wait.
It looks kind of like I remember.
It looks just like I remember. Oh wait, it thinks I'm in Wichita.
This is something else. That I never thought I would see this again, to be honest. And you can see like
I never think about like the Google Maps like algorithm and think like I wish it looked more like MapQuest, but I'm looking at it now, the colors are so much more pleasant than Google Maps.
You know what? You're right. Oh my God. I used to use MapQuest so many times, like
I'm Googling
and then printing out the directions on a piece of paper.
You make like little notes in the margin where you're like,
yes,
like if you see the tree, you've gone too far.
Exactly. And then like you'd always be like looking around with your little paper, and you'd be like, "Did we pass?"
But also don't hit the other cars while you're going back and forth.
Oh my God.
Now you do it with a phone, which is a smaller way to do the exact same thing, but it'll load better on your phone. Oh my God. Yeah, but that's my biggest fear in life is getting lost. And I think like even in the moments when I'm having dreams where I'm lost, like I'll be in like a house and I'm looking for like a light switch or somebody chasing me. So a dark house and I can't find where I'm going. Or like even recently, actually the wildest dream that I was like at this like 5-star hotel, and it was like many stories tall, and like I was like trying to like find my room, but like I kept going the wrong way. I was like going up and down the stairs and up through the elevators, and like I kept running into people I knew, but I couldn't find my room. And it was and then there was like a flooding situation, I think, at some point.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I also have like weird dreams where like I've moved.
You've moved houses?
Yeah, but like without the stress of actually having to pack anything. Like I just like, walk in, I'm like, here's my home. Everything that's in it is mine. Even though I'm looking at it, I'm like, I couldn't afford that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a lot of dreams where like usually I'm in school and I can't find what classroom I'm supposed to like go into. Like I get lost in school. And I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? Like I'm not even in school anymore.
Last time I had a dream where I was like, what a pleasant experience.
Oh,
it's like adulthood where you're like, just gets more stressful mentally and subconsciously.
Well, sometimes but I sometimes will dream about this really nice serene lake, and I'll like go back to it, and I've been dreaming about it sporadically off and on since I was like 14. So it's like whenever I like see the lake, and there's like a really nice like street going towards the lake. So sometimes if I start the dream on the street, I'm like, oh, I'm going to the lake. Like it's like I'm like the lake is here. Like it's like I'm really excited to see this made up place that only
it's like we're getting a break tonight.
Yeah, we get a nice break. We're going to the lake.
The last time I had a dream, I woke up and was like, that was so pleasant. It's gonna sound very dark, but my grandfather and I were very, very close. And after he died, I miss him a lot. And it's like a couple of years ago, maybe. No, it was like a year ago, because I remember I told my therapist about it. Although maybe I've hit my 2nd anniversary of therapy.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, thank you. It's an ongoing process to better myself.
I think everyone should be in therapy.
I know.
Truly,
oh, wow,
everyone.
Like great. Yeah, no, I've gone on a few dates with this one guy, and like one of the things like he told me is like, oh yeah, I have a therapist. I'm like, so he admits not perfect. That's a point in your corner, sir. You want to better yourself, and you realize that your mental health is important. Good for you. I struggle with mine. Anyway, I'm gonna hide my crazy again. Because dating's just all a show. But I had this dream where I was like at Arlington Cemetery, but I wasn't. Again, with my mismatched places, which is the thing I wake up and I get so annoyed with. And it's just like, is there no continuity person hired for my subconscious to like just take a picture of the place and get it right? But anyway, I was like driving through a cemetery. Was with my grandfather in the car, and I don't even remember if we were talking about anything or not. But like, I just woke up and I was like, it was kind of nice to spend some time with him, even if it wasn't real.
Yeah,
it was like just, I woke up and I was like, that was really nice. It's like one of the things where it's like, like when you do have a dream, like sometimes the things that you want, you get to have even just for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
Like it doesn't happen a lot because my mental health is a work in progress.
Yeah,
and I often forget that I deserve to have good things. Because why want things for yourself when you can just be stressed out about things instead? Play to your strengths. But like,
I feel like I'm like always so stressed. Yeah, like I know that manifests itself in like my poor sleep and like my dreams. But I don't know if you've experienced this, but like I constantly feel like I'm like a really not a good person. But
I worry about that all the time. Like not just like in terms of like morally good, but like, am I not like doing well just as an adult?
Exactly.
Yes. Like there's so many ways you could not be a good person. I'm totally with you on that. I think about it all the time.
And I feel like one of the reasons, and I don't know this, I have a theory about this. So here's my theory.
I love your theories.
Thank you.
An Axler exclusive, guys.
An Axler exclusive.
You heard it first here.
I have a theory, and the theory is that our whole, as people, especially people in America, our benchmarkers for success are so skewed because the benchmarkers we're given as children are no longer applicable as adults. So I feel so like unmoored and lost constantly. But that's because like when I was younger, I was like, oh, well, I know I'm doing good if I get an A on this test. And if my teachers like me, but it's like, there has to be like, that's not the only metric for what is good.
But this is what our parents were taught too, is like,
yes.
So like they didn't know, they gave us what they had. And like what they had was okay.
Yeah.
Like as we've grown as a society, like even now, like certain parents, they'll be like, do you hear that they're in therapy? Like whispering, whereas like everybody my age I know is like, my therapist said.
Yes.
And there's those markers too, where it's like I remember one time when I was a kid in middle school, so not when I was a preteen, I had my first kiss, and I remember I was so excited. I was going to tell my mom about it, and I told my mom about it, and she's like, "You can't tell your dad." And it was the first time I realized, like, her reaction to it was like very like, "Oh no," which like, like I think her approach, like I guess I probably not a thing I should have shared with my mom. But, you know.
So that's sweet, though, that you shared.
Well, I mean, we're not that close. I mean, she's a good person, but I don't remember how it came up, but I told her. But her reaction was like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't tell your dad this, and that. And I was like, for the first time it occurred to me there might be anything more important than school. And this moment of like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because like my parents like very like, if you don't do well in school, everything will fall apart.
Mm.
Will be a bad person. And I don't like it was never like question of if I was going to college. Like it was just like, you will go to college. Because like it, and I was like a very like C student.
Coming really?
Yeah. When I got to college, I did a lot better because my parents weren't hanging over my shoulders being like, are you doing your homework? Like once I had that little bit of autonomy over my time, it was a little easier. Did you think I was a better do I come off as like a good high school student?
You do come off as like someone.
I'm so flattered that you say that.
Like it honestly really does like shock me a little bit because I don't know. I just like figured you like as like a very, very. Am I frozen? What am I doing? I might be frozen, but I'll edit that part out where I was frozen. But I really do feel like in my mind, I see you as a very like A++ student.
Also, you're gonna have some good content of me talking to my dog.
I'm glad I got some good dog content.
There is. And then there's the moment when I realized you were still recording.
I am. So, I didn't stop.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, this happens to me all the time at work too. Like I'll log onto a meeting before everybody else and then suddenly, and then I'll like go back to reading my emails or whatever. And then suddenly you're like, boom. And if somebody else logging on, I always like jump or drop
my gosh
or something. It's not good. I'm easily startled.
No, I hear you. Me too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I forgot what we were saying.
Cheers. I was saying to you that I thought you come across to me as a very good student.
I was not a good student. I was a very anxious student. Not to shock you. But it was more because I was worried about what my parents would say rather than like because I wanted to do well. Like my parents like were very much like you have to do well, but there was never like the follow-up sentence of, and we know you can. And I think that sentence would have made like such a big difference for me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like now like I have dreams where like I'll be back in high school and I'll be like having to take a test and I'll be like, I didn't know there was a test right now.
Exactly. Yes, I have those dreams all the time, and I'm just like, what? Like, I understand
at school and like and I need to find my classroom, but all the classrooms are wrong. Yeah. Not like I'm in my high school, but I'm not in my high school because again, my brain doesn't understand continuity. It bothers me.
It bothers me too.
Yeah. So wait. So what happens in your dreams when you're like, oh, I have this test?
I can never find the right room I'm supposed to be in. And so I can't take the test. And the worst part about this whole thing is that this actually happened to me once.
Really?
For my AP, I think it was my AP history test in high school or something like that.
You were a fancy high school AP student.
Apparently I was a fancy high school AP student, but I was assigned to be in room, let's call it room 26. Because the numbers don't really matter, but I went to room 26, and basically, there were about 8 of us total in this room, and we were just waiting for the teacher to come in to pass out the tests. And I gotta tell you, the teacher never arrived because
just no-showed for the AP test.
Well, because here's what happened. For reasons that were never fully explained, the 8 of us in that room were assigned to like the wrong room. Like we were assigned to room 26, but we really should have been in room like 300 on the other side of the building. But for whatever reason, for the 8 of us, they just put us in a room.
It just remains unsolved.
Unsolved. It truly is unsolved. And then by the time we realized that there was an issue, we all went into the office. The office You know, they had obviously, someone had made a mistake. Like there was some mistake.
Yeah, no, somebody like fucking blew it.
And then they finally were like, oh, you all should be in room 300. But this was like an hour and a half later.
So they can't like restart the test.
No. And they walk us to room 300. And then they're like, the proctor in room 300 is like, well, I already started the test. So they cannot take the test in this room. So finally we ended up taking the test like 2.5 hours late in the library.
But in room 300. It had
no, in a different room.
Oh, I was like hoping you'd be like, and then we ended up taking the AP math exam in room 26.
It was just ridiculous. Like it was just so, and I think that always like freaked me out because I remember like I was like, damn, like if I do badly on this test, like it's not gonna, and I did not, but like it just caused so much stress, like just the waiting.
Capable person, and of course you would do well. And I was having a moment last night when I needed to hear somebody say to me, like, you're a smart and capable person, don't worry about it. And then I called my dad and was like, Dad, I'm worried about this thing. He's like, here's all the ways it can go wrong.
Oh my God. You are a smart and capable person.
Thank you. I needed to hear that last night. You're 24 hours late, but
I'm sorry. I tried.
I will text you in the future, Axler, when I am like, I need you to remind me.
I will, and I will remind you.
It's a pact. I'll do the same for you.
Thank you.
But no, it's interesting because like I never had that experience, but I did. I took the GRE my senior year of college, but I studied for it very badly.
Okay.
I bought all the GRE prep books. I had the CD-ROM because that's the thing people put in their computers back then.
I remember those.
It was 2011. You know, we were shopping at Ann Taylor Loft and going through a recession, and or maybe that was just my life.
Oh my God. No, I mean there was a recession.
Everywhere for the first time. It was a wild. Oh my God, that was 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I graduated college 10 years ago. It just occurred to me.
You did it.
I did. I graduated. Anyway, but I didn't go to grad school. Spoiler for that story. But I studied for it. I was like, there's this way in which like I had this like impression that like I did not do well and go to grad school, my life would be ruined. And that like everything I thought I wanted had to hinge on this idea of like you have to get a master's degree because I was a psych major, so there's only there are limited things you can do with a psych degree without a master's degree at least. And I was like, you have to go to grad school and get a master's degree and probably a PhD, and you'll change the world and help everybody to understand mental health and awareness. And no. I thought I was going to change everything. We all do when we're in our 20s. So I study for the GRE. Like I was going to walk into the testing center and somebody would just shoot me point blank. Like I was like in the library till like 2 a.m. just like going through these CD-ROMs and like not absorbing a single thing, just like frantically. Is it C? Please tell me if it's C. Is it B? I'm bad at math. Somebody help me. And then it was like 2 days before the exam before I realized when I realized that I could just retake it if I didn't do well the first time. And that I was the one who was giving all this power to the exam. The exam was literally a non-sentient thing.
Right.
That had nothing to do with my future because I could just retake it. But by then, I had 2 days before the exam. Anyway, what I'm saying is I scored very badly on the GRE. But I'm glad I didn't do well, honestly, because like I would have never like moved to DC or like found improv or started doing stand-up or like have the beautiful dog that I do who begs for carrots, who's begging for carrots right now.
Does he want a carrot?
Okay, one more. Just one more. Wait, she's gonna run away. Oh, she stayed. Okay, anyway, you can cut that out if you don't want it to. Anyway, but like it's interesting the way like you have like all these dreams for yourself, but like then like real fucking life happens and you're like,
yes, yeah,
I can make this work. Or you have like meltdowns and you're like, this doesn't work and everything's terrible. And I think my life is a mess. And then a year later, you're like, but I made it work.
Right. That's very true. I've been recently like very into, I've just been like doing I feel like every few months I discover like a very strange interest in like researching a particular topic. And I go like deep diving into it. And I bring it up to you because it's tangentially related to what you were talking about, just in terms of like psychology. I've always been very interested in psychology. I think it's like what I'm trying to say.
The brain is a mystery. Of course it's interesting.
The brain is a mystery. And something I've been like so like intrigued with the past few months is the concept of like very manipulative people. Ooh. And I have been, do you know about the Nexium case?
Yes, I watched a whole segment on it. I watched CBS this morning, every morning, because I'm a big Gayle King fan.
Oh, yeah, I love Gayle.
Queen of network news in the morning. But on top of that, I watched a 60 Minutes episode on it. I watched a Nora O'Donnell interview on it. It's all CBS stuff because I don't have cable.
Yes,
but like,
I love CBS.
See, this is why we're simpatico. Also because like you're a good person. I like being around good people. But mainly the CBS thing. CBS, no, but like it's fascinating the way people are being branded, and these women are like, and there's still women who are on his side.
Yeah, and it's
baffling.
It's so baffling.
It's so fascinating.
Cults are like something that I can literally. So that's kind of my current like niche deep dive topic.
Yes.
In next, and then like kind of cults in general. And there's one, if you're interested in the Nexium case, I'm going to recommend this article to you. I'll link it. I'll send you the link.
Yes,
but basically, it is called. It's this guy named Larry Ray. And he has a kid who went to Sarah Lawrence College in New York, and basically recruited like several of her friends, like brainwashed several of her friends, and kind of formed like this like mini cult around him. And it's really and it's so sad.
That's
like
it's just it's weird, but it's also like there's the perverse side of like I worship my father, not God. The man who gave me half my genes, I think, is God. And that's the thing that fascinates me about cults too, is like the way that they get people involved.
Yes.
Like, the way they're able to pick out, because like I always worry a little bit like, am I vulnerable enough for that? Because that you can spot my insecurities from a mile away. And it wouldn't be hard to be like, find one person to be like, you're really special. Like, I'd be like, I am? Tell me more. How much of my money do you need to keep telling me that? Oh, wait, that's therapy.
I mean, I feel like I've worried about that a lot too. And then like, when I got really, really into like the Nexium case, like, I don't know, like the Nexium case,
it's all of wild. It's bonkers.
It's wild. It's so wild. And I think it's so sad because I feel like the one thing that, you know, when you always, I feel like, hear about cults in a very removed way. Like, it's like, oh, there were these cult, like, I think, like Jonestown, I think, is the only example I remember hearing from my youth. Like, in the sense of...
I watched a great documentary about that. I'll try and find it and send it to you.
Yes, please do. Just because, like, I remember hearing about that, and then I remember being like, wow, it is so weird that all these people just like willingly poison themselves. But like when you think about it, it's like
did actually.
Oh, see, I didn't.
There's some theories. If I'm remembering the documentary that I watched about 4 years ago for half an hour correctly, quote me on it. There is some theories and evidence that there's a good number of people who did willingly do it, but there are also some people who, like, some of the people first to go were maybe not people who were like into the whole stab myself with poison thing.
Right.
Some of them drank it, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, and I, again, very likely wrong, there was also some injecting of people with poison as well. So, but anyway. God.
Well, I think like the thing that I didn't understand at the time that I first heard about it, one, because I was a child, and two, because I think our own understanding about brains and influence and manipulation is still so murky and like not even really that understood, to be honest. Like,
and affirmation is so addicting.
Yes. Like, I just feel like there were so many steps before you get to the point, like the line keeps getting moved, where it's I think so much of it is like, with the Nexium case, someone referred to it being like a frog in a pot of boiling water, where like you can't feel that it's getting hotter until it's too late, and then you're dead at that point. Like you're in the boiling. Have
you watched any of the documentaries on Scientology?
No, but that's another topic that really interests me.
Oh, you should really watch, oh God, what was it called? Fuck me. There's a few really good documentaries on Scientology that, if you're into cult stuff, it's super culty. Like,
yes,
super fucking culty.
Oh my God.
And you can quote me on that because I know it's correct.
I will quote you on.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like, there's this like idea of like, that's the thing that scares me about cults too, is like, I don't trust myself not to be like, oh, these people like me and I don't like myself all the time. And these words of affirmation, I'm not into love languages. I think that's kind of a bullshit thing, but like, people say anything nice to me, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with this compliment, but I want more.
Oh. Yeah, like same with me. Like I get very uncomfortable. Like it's weird and it's hard to describe. And maybe I think you would get this, but I don't want to be like you would get this because
no, probably if it's something about like not being able to take a compliment, then yes.
But it's like I feel like people, when I tell that to people, they're like, oh, well, like you perform, so like you're used to being in the spotlight. But it's like I don't see myself like. It's like I think people have this like idea of like a 1930s like show guy or gal, and they're like, oh, that is what you must like to do, and it's like that's not what it's like in my brain, at least. That's not what's happening here.
Yes, no, this is how I feel about performing. Is like what I like about it is their structure. I know exactly what the societal expectations are for me in improv, and which I prefer because it's not me, it's a group effort, but I can do stand-up. But the thing about stand-up is like, I know what I'm going to say. I know what the expectations are. If I bomb, but like, I'll live through it because that's part of doing it. But do well, that's great. But like, as soon as I get off stage, like, I don't want anybody to look at me.
Yeah.
I want to go hide in the back of the bar with my friends, have a beer and be like, oh man, I fucked this up. And they'll be like, no, you didn't. I'll be like, I'll listen to the recording later and find out.
Yeah. It's so true.
Well, there you have it. That was the latest episode of Now Entering Dreamland, featuring an interview with M. Fisk. Thanks so much, M. If you like this podcast, if you enjoy content like this, I can only recommend that you subscribe to this podcast. We release new episodes once a week on Sundays, typically on Sundays, and we have a handy subscribe button so you can get the latest episodes right to your email. We also have an archive of all of our episodes at nowenteringdreamland.com, so check that out if you want more Dreamland content. You're now leaving Dreamland, but we'll see you next time.